Welcome back to Urban Traditionalists. Today we're going to do a quick video on dehydrating peaches. I like to purchase my peaches as windfall from the farm, meaning I pick them up off the ground. They can be a little bruised or blemished, as you can see here, but at 20 cents a pound, you can't really argue with that. The entire sink full of peaches there was about $8, so you do the math. I don't mind putting in a little extra work for that. As you can see, the inside of the peach is totally fine. So it might look a little weird on the outside, but the fruit is perfectly fine. All you have to do is just chop off that top there, and then you can process your peach the same way. So definitely recommend purchasing Windfall if you have access to it. When I process my peaches for dehydrating and even canning, this is probably my favorite way to cut them, though do be careful. It's also a great way to, utilize Band-Aids. You want to cut your peaches about a 1/4 inch for dehydrating, much bigger than that, and it's going to take a long time for them to dry. The reason I like cutting my peach this way is because, as you can see, pieces are simply falling off the peach. But when you're done, you just want to upend the peach a little bit, give a little twist, and then everything falls off the pit right there in your hands. And it's just super effective and quick. Loading the tray can be a little bit of an OCD task, and it can be quite enjoyable, but you don't want to overlap your peaches. So peaches are quite juicy, and if you overlap them, they will dehydrate infused together. It'll also make the dehydrating process longer. You can slightly overlap things like mushrooms or onions or peppers, but when it comes to the juicier foods, you really want to try avoiding overlapping. It's always super satisfying to see the dehydrator nice and full. This is about 8 to 10 pounds of peaches, I would say. I think that sink full gave me nearly 3 dehydrators full. It is good to remember how much produce it takes to fill your dehydrator when you're out purchasing. You can kind of do the math. For time, I'm going to set it to 14 hours, but I don't think it'll quite need that long. And you can see the temperature is 131 degrees Fahrenheit. It's better to give it more time than less time, because if you set this overnight, you want it to be done in the morning. You don't want to have to restart it. As you can see, there's 4 hours left, so the dehydrator has only been running about 10 hours at this point. And looking at the peaches, they look done. I don't think they're going to need more time than this. I think we're going to call it here and pull them out at this point. Now, most people use the snap test when it comes to dehydrating food, meaning they put it in their hands and snap it with their fingers, and if it snaps in half, it's done. Peaches won't do that. They're too juicy, so they're going to just fold in half. And you can just eat one and try it, and if it's got like a little bit of that fruit leather texture, it's not done. You actually want it to be more like a beef jerky texture. You want it to be dry and chewy. You don't want any moisture left in the fruit at all. So even though it says there's 4 hours left, I think we're just going to call it where it is. I also like to use the plastic tray on top of the metal wiring because it's easier to pull the fruit off of that than the metal wiring. And as you can see, the fruit is looking like it is fully done. This bowl here is the entire dehydrator in a bowl, so you can see just how much they condense. It's crazy. The entire dehydrator did fit in this mason jar, which is crazy considering that's 10 pounds of peaches, and then future rounds of peaches we'll put in the Mylar bags. All right, guys, that about wraps it up. I hope you learned something, and I hope you give this a try.